back to the channel and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another cooking video. We're making one of my favorite dishes. It's called biryani. It's a Pakistani dish. Well, they also have it in India. We call it a desi dish. Desi is basically Pakistani and Indian style stuff, and it's really an amazing dish. It's got a lot of flavor, it's got a lot of complexity. Sometimes it's hard to make, and it's hard to make it good. You go to restaurants, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. You gotta know who to go to. So today I'm gonna try to make it for the first time. It's kind of a kitchen experiment. I'm gonna make it the easier way. I'm gonna make it so that I can eat it throughout the week as my meal prep. And so I'm gonna show you exactly how I do that. Let's see how it turns out. These ingredients we're gonna use for our chicken biryani today. Let's start with chicken. I am using boneless, skinless chicken thighs with the fat on it. And usually they use bone-in pieces of chicken, but personally, I don't like the bone-in. I know it adds a little bit more flavor, but if I'm taking this to work and I'm eating on my desk, I don't really wanna have to deal with like getting the chicken off the bone and where I just wanna eat the food, right? So I typically go for boneless chicken, and the thighs tend to have a good amount of fat and tenderness and juiciness, so I think it should be great. We'll see how it turns out again. Now here we've got some of our vegetables that we're gonna use. We've got 2 small tomatoes, we've got ginger, garlic, onion. I have some onion that I cut up before, I'll use that. Cilantro, mint, and these are serrano peppers. Usually they use green chilies, but I like serrano peppers and a little bit milder flavor, and I like using it as a topping and stuff like that. Although green chilies are also good. I just don't want it to be overly spicy because it's not really good for your stomach. Anyways, moving along here, we've got what's called biryani masala. Masala basically means spice mix, and it's for biryani. You can just buy this packet. I got this from H Mart. You can go to a Pakistani desi or Asian grocery store. They have this stuff in a lot of different places. You should be able to find it. Here I've got some chicken stock. I'm just gonna add this when I make my rice because it just adds a little bit more flavor to it. We're also gonna use some plain yogurt and some vegetable oil for cooking and marinating our chicken. And we've got, basmati rice here, which is what we're gonna use for this dish because it's a rice dish. And we've got some eggs, which we're gonna boil and put on top of our dish and serve alongside the biryani. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we need to do is soak the rice for 30 minutes. And it helps the rice stay separated when you cook it. It doesn't all get stuck together and clumpy. They stay apart. That's really what we're going for, and that's why we're going to soak the rice for about 30 minutes. I'm just gonna put a whole bunch of rice in there, a good amount of rice. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and use some cold water and rinse the rice a little bit and soak it. My rice is fully covered here, so we're just gonna put that on the side and let it rest. Okay, so the rice has been sitting for about 30 minutes in the water. As you can see, the grains, if you had seen the grains before, they're a little bit different now, a little bit bigger and rounder. You can also tell that there's less space on top of the water than when it started. So the rice has absorbed some of that water and should hold its shape a little bit better. So I'm heating up a little bit of oil in this pan, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flash fry some star anise, maybe 1 or 2 pieces. This is not 100% necessary, but when you fry the star anise real quick, it helps bring out some of that flavor, and then that's gonna go into the rice while we're cooking it. So we're just gonna fry it real quick, add the rice in, and then while we're cooking the rice, we're gonna boil the eggs at the same time in the same water. We're only gonna cook the rice up to like 80% of fully cooked. At this point, we're not gonna fully cook the rice because later on, we're gonna finish cooking the rice with the chicken, and the chicken is gonna have like a gravy, so it's all gonna cook together and it's gonna be freaking delicious. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab a couple of these star anise, 2 pieces. So aromatic. If you've never tried star anise before, it's kind of like licorice. It smells like licorice. We'll just throw it in there, let it heat up, toast it a bit, get the aromatics out. I'm gonna take my 2 cubes of chicken stock here, break it up, because it tends not to wanna dissolve all the way sometimes, and I wanna make sure that it does, so I'm taking and put it in there. Having lower temperature, the oil, and then adding your rice in the water. Okay, then we're just gonna get some more water. Okay, we'll check the depth here. It's deep enough. And it's a little deep, and we're gonna add some eggs. So, turning this back on. We're gonna add our chicken stock here, chicken bouillon. Get everything incorporated properly. Now I'm adding my eggs to boil in here. gonna let this rice cook for about 15-20 minutes and until it's 80% cooked. It's still a little hard on the inside. That's very important. So just check on it relatively often. So one of the first things I need to do to prepare making this dish, and even for my marination of my chicken, is I need to fry some onions. I need fried onions because that's an important part of the dish. So let's get that out the way real quick. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna grab a red onion here, boom, just like that. Cut off the ends. I cut off the ends at least. I know it wastes a little bit of onion, but sure makes everything go a lot quicker. And we'll peel off the outer edge here, or the outer layer, I should say. Take your onion, pick a good spot, slice it down the middle, turn it on the side. We're just going for long, relatively thin slices. Next up, we're gonna prepare our marination sort of deal here. I'm gonna start with the ginger. There we go, we've got some ginger. We'll go with about this much. It would be good if you have a food processor. That would make things easier for you to prepare your stuff here. I'm just using the back of my knife here to peel it basically. It's the easiest way to do this. Now we're gonna use a good amount of ginger here. It's about that much ginger. We're just gonna mince this up as much as possible. Now it's time to marinate the chicken. So we've got our mix of garlic, ginger, chili, cilantro, and mint here. We've got some fried onions. We've got our biryani mix. We've got 1 lime. You're actually supposed to use lemons, but I had a lime laying around, so why not use it? We have a yogurt. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start by putting some yogurt onto our chicken. Usually the yogurt they use is like a Pakistani yogurt. It's a little bit more watery than this, but this will be fine. Maybe add a little bit more. I'll see later on. And then what I'll do is I'll add all of my other ingredients. I'm going to add some of my fried onions. There. It's good. Delicious fried onions. My lime juice, or in your case it should be lemon juice. Grab that. And I think I'm gonna add the whole packet because this is also what's gonna add flavor to the rice. Using a little extra than I think what you really need, but I want it to flavor the whole rice and everything, so there you go. It's a good amount. That'd be good. All right, now throw some gloves on. I've got my gloves on here. I'm gonna go ahead and mix it all up. Now that it's marinating, we're gonna let it sit for about 30 minutes. You might have noticed that I didn't add any salt to this, and that's because there's some salt already in the spice packet. And once I start frying it initially, I'm gonna take some taste tests and see if it needs more salt, because the last thing I wanna do is over salt it and then ruin it, right? So always add salt at the end. There's really no drawbacks to adding salt at the end.
A little longer than a few.
The rice is done being parboiled. It's 80% cooked. Boiled the eggs, and the chicken has been marinating for about 30 minutes. Now we're ready to get cooking. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up these 2 small tomatoes. Okay, we're just gonna cube them. Here I have the leftover oil from when I fried the onions. I just heated it back up. I'm gonna go ahead and fry my tomatoes. Easy peasy. Tomatoes soft enough and fried. Once they get kind of soft, we'll add our chicken. This is what we want our tomatoes to look like. You can see they're softened up a bit, kind of blending into the oil here. And basically what we're looking for. Now we add our chicken to this. You can go ahead and just add that in there. gonna cook the chicken like this for about 6 to 8 minutes. Basically, we wanna cook the chicken almost pretty much all the way through. Don't wanna overcook the chicken though, because we're gonna cook it a little bit longer. We do wanna get the chicken fully cooked. It's a little bit like a gravy, but we don't want it to be too watery. So once the water has kind of evaporated a little bit and the chicken is fully cooked, that's what we're looking for. So you'll see what that looks like towards the end. And you're just gonna wanna mix it up every once in a while to make sure nothing burns or sticks, and to make sure that everything gets evenly cooked. If you don't have enough liquid in the pan, you can always add a little bit of water while this cooks. Now that's probably gonna take like 10 minutes because this is a lot. Our chicken is done cooking and it's reduced to this nice consistency that we want. It's a little bit oily, so maybe add less oil, but you don't have to add all of it in there. But it's basically ready to go. So now what we need to do is we need to make a couple of layers for our biryani, and I'm gonna start by getting some oil and spraying the bottom so that the rice doesn't stick. There you go. I have my parboiled rice over here. I'm gonna start layering this into this pot. We're gonna do probably 2 layers. It's a really big pot. Let's just grab some of this rice here. Go ahead and throw it in there. Just break up the rice, smooth it out around the bottom. Okay, so once you got a good layer of rice on the bottom, which you're looking for, even it out a bit. All right, that looks pretty good. On top of each layer, we're gonna add a little bit of our mint leaves here that I've chopped up. Get a good amount in there. Want that flavor to come through, the aromas. Then I'm gonna grab our chopped cilantro here. Try to spread it out a little bit more evenly. Just like that. And then we're gonna add some of our fried onions here. Oops. Spread it up. Kind of burnt these onions, to be honest. They're a little bit overcooked, but it's fine. They still have a good flavor. All right, yummy. The next step is to add some of our chicken. I'm gonna grab this. Oh yeah, that looks good. Let's mix it up a little bit. Got that yogurt in there, a little bit of creaminess. Grab that. We're just gonna spread it out over this entire area. Now usually they do like 2 or 3 layers, but since I have such a big pot and not as much, I'm not making that much. I'm probably only gonna do this 1 layer with another layer of rice on top of it, just to get a good coverage. It smells incredible. Now we'll add another layer of rice on top of all this. So I've put my rice in, I've got my chicken, I got my couple layers in there. I've added all my boiled eggs in the area where there was like some extra sauce at the top. So hopefully they absorb that. Okay, I'm gonna cover this and continue cooking it on low heat. So it's gonna finish cooking the rice with some of the sauce, so the rice really absorbs it and all the flavors mix, everything like that. After that, this is done. This is pretty much done, as you can see. We've got the eggs on top. They've adopted this slight brown color, which is good. And if you just take a scoop up out of here, mix this up a bit.
Ooh, look at that.
You'll see that you've got that nice biryani color, and it sure does smell like biryani. Just wanna get a nice, oh yeah, look at that.
Wow. Wow, that's delicious.
Take out a nice scoop out of this. right, guys, so the biryani is complete. I made a little bit of a yogurt sauce, like a yogurt chutney kind of sauce. It's got cilantro, the serrano peppers, and some mint, a little bit of salt, and some raw garlic that I minced and put into there. To go alongside with this, usually you eat it with like a yogurt sauce or a chutney or what they call a raita. With the way the color came out, it's got that yellow brown color that you want to see. And I'm even more happy with like the chicken. Look at this. This is the chicken. Okay. I mean, you just touch it and you see that it just falls apart just like that. Barely touching it. I'm literally like, look at that. It just falls apart at the slightest touch. You can't even pick up a piece of chicken without it falling apart, which is great. I see all the fried onions, some of the spices in there. Ooh, it looks good. I'm loving the way this looks. I see some of the mint, some of the cilantro. Here's pieces of the tomato. Ooh-wee. All right, let's give it a try. Can't wait. You're always gonna get spices when you eat biryani. Wow, that is like, that really reminds me of like the dinner parties I used to go to when I was younger, and all the Pakistani people were there, and they always cater or cook. There's always like biryani. This reminds me of that, or like a restaurant biryani. But this biryani is really good actually compared to a lot of the restaurant biryani that I have, because the flavor is really there. I'm really tasting the tomato come through, and frying the tomato in the beginning actually makes a little bit of a difference in the flavor profile. And I taste that. I mean, that was just the first bite. You taste a little bit of that salty, sort of spicy, savory, kind of like the tomato undertones, and then the mint and the cilantro kind of up high. In the beginning, that's what you taste. After like a couple seconds, you start to feel the heat from the spices come through. It's not immediately the first thing you taste is the spices. It's kind of like afterburn. And you know what? And it's the perfect amount of spicy. It's not like, oh, dying, I can't eat it. Actually leaves you craving for more. But the great thing is I made this yogurt sauce. So I can add some of this, balance out some of that heat, add some little flavor, a little cooling action. Now that's the flavor. That is awesome. The warm, kind of hot rice with the spiciness, contrasted with the cooling of the yogurt sauce, that's a bomb. I didn't try any of the egg. Obviously it's a boiled egg. See if it has any flavor though. Picked up a little bit of flavor, but it's good to partner with your meal. Chicken and eggs. Overall, guys, I am actually really happy with the way this came out. This is delicious, and I'm gonna be eating this all week as my meal prep. If you wanna make biryani the easy way, I think this is pretty easy. It wasn't too bad, and it came out absolutely delicious. So if you liked the video, then make sure you hit that thumbs up button and let me know that you liked it. And if you like our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that we feel really good inside. I'm really happy that I made this. I'm really happy that you watched the video, and now it's time for me to go. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace.